So in this video we're looking at a 2014 Smart Fortwo electric drive car that was purchased for parts because it had a bunch of faults and the battery was basically bricked. The next couple of images and videos you're going to see are of all of the faults that we found in the system. And all this was found before we removed the battery, but just to show you what was all wrong with this car. It had about 22,000 miles on it. It was stored at about 30% charge, and about 6 months later they went back to the car and it was no longer a viable battery. Everything was completely dead. Even the 12-volt battery was dead. We picked up a new battery, installed it so we could hook up the diagnostic tool, and we were able to do all those scans and get all these pictures that you're going to see. And we did some amp draws. You'll see a couple pictures of those also. There was some kind of a draw on the 12-volt battery the whole time when it was hooked up, when it was sitting. So not exactly sure what happened there, but just figured I'd throw that in there.
So I'd like to start off by saying I am not a Mercedes tech. If you're going to attempt to do this job, do it at your own risk. This is for informational purposes, because I haven't seen many videos on YouTube of anybody taking the batteries out, putting them in another car, and actually going through with the diagnostic software to see if there's any codes that need to be cleared. We're going to try to document all that stuff, see how it goes.
So here is a sped up version of a walk around underneath the car. If there's anything you want to see, you could pause it at any time. We're going to put a progress bar at the bottom of the screen so you could skip this tour entirely and get right to the battery removal. So we decided to test all the individual cells and the pack as a whole just to see what the status of the battery was. Across the entire pack we had 26.82 volts, and across module number 1 we had 5.3 volts, module number 2 we had 9.2 volts, module number 3 we had 12.58 volts. Each module has 31 cells, and we found that 2 or 3 cells in each module were defective, either wouldn't hold a charge or would charge and would lose voltage over time. So when you look at the cost of what it costs to get used cells, it just wasn't worth sinking the money into this battery to try to repair it. So we decided to take another route and take a car that has a good battery and sacrifice its battery to fix the blue car.
One eternity later.
This smart car is a 2014 electric drive, and the battery is good in this car. And we have another car that the battery isn't good in. Actually, we have the battery already removed. But there's a few reasons that I'm changing the battery. For one, this car is higher mileage than the other car. Number 2, the shocks, as you can see, are completely blown out and they're sitting all the way down. Number 3, the AC doesn't work, and the list goes on and on. But long story short, it's going to be quicker to change the battery than it will be to fix all the problems that it has. And the other car that I bought for a parts car essentially is a perfect car, but the battery was no good in it. So we're starting out today just to show that it drives. a vacuum pump running that you hear. So obviously I got all kinds of door open faults and everything, but if you just take a look at the dash, like there's no, you know, engine lights or, you know, any kind of idiot lights on in the dash. Everything's functional. Battery's at 100% state of charge. We just took it off the charger, so we're gonna close the door up here. And drive it to where we're gonna take the battery. Because I read somewhere or heard somewhere that if you try to disconnect your high voltage side, there's a quick disconnect under the driver's side dash for your high voltage. But I don't want to disconnect that until I disconnect my 12 volt battery. Your 12 volt battery, if you didn't know, is located under your passenger side footwell. So we took out the foam that was in there, and that's where your slime would be, because they don't have a spare tire in these cars, and also an air compressor, so that's all in there. And there's also like a tow hook that hooks to your front bumper. But first we're going to start by disconnecting the 12 volt battery and taking it out. Oh, by the way, it might be a good idea to open your tailgate. That's why I opened it from the beginning. Because once your 12 volt battery is disconnected, this no longer will work, because it works off these actuators.
Also, don't forget to put the car in neutral, because you won't be able to do it once the battery is disconnected.
So we got the battery out, 12 volt battery, no issues there. You do have to kind of sneak it up sideways to get it out of there, lift the back end of it up and pull it out. It's a little tough to get out. Here's the battery here. And now coming underneath the driver's side floor, or under the dash, up in the top here, you're going to see a red piece of plastic. We're going to just grab that, yank it out, and that's your disconnect for your high voltage side of your car. So with that, we're going to put that in the glove box, and shouldn't need it again for this car, but just figured I'd show where that was. Just do a quick walk around on this thing, see how things look. Back coil springs don't look bad. To my surprise, it actually has the plastics underneath this. Goes to show you how much you actually work on an electric car. I don't think I've ever been under it. Here's what I really want to see. Look at those springs. Definitely not good. And this side's the same way. So one thing I wanted to throw in here was these shocks are notorious for blowing out on these cars. You can see where mine's broke, these coil springs. What I want to do here is take a measurement of the diameter of this shock absorber shaft. 0.708. If you have to make that tool or want to make that tool, Mercedes sells a specialty tool for clamping on this shaft, and what you do is you hold that shaft with a big adjustable or some type of wrench, and then you are able to break the nut free that holds the top of the strut in place. So without that tool, you're kind of spinning the shaft in there. So just figured I'd throw that in there.
Now that the high voltage battery was installed, it's time to install the rest of the parts in the car. We put the battery in here, but we also hooked up the high voltage disconnect before we attached the terminals on the battery.
So without going any further, let's see if this goes into park. Check tire pressure. Malfunction service required. Check tire pressure. Okay. So we're using this Zurich ZR Pro. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. This is, I believe, sold through Harbor Freight. So if this works, it'll be an advertisement for them. If it doesn't work, then we'll see. But I'm not going to sit here and bore you with setting up, going into entering the VIN number and all that stuff. So when I get that done, I'll bring you back. So there's lots of faults here now. And we'll see if any of them clear. Let's start at the top and work our way down. Okay, so no or incorrect CAN message from control unit A1 instrument cluster is this U1108, current and stored. U113, terminal 15 signal on the CAN bus is missing or faulty. C1317, CAN communication to control module A1 instrument cluster is faulty. Message from cluster unit, instrument cluster is not available on the CAN bus. Message from control unit, weight sensing system is not available on the CAN bus. No CAN message VIN from control unit, instrument cluster. Let's check the wheels in the back. I'm going to put it in reverse. Ready? Mm-hmm. Turn.
Yep.
Let's drive.
Just stopped.
I just wanted to roll it a little bit. So it does have traction power. So there are some faults that did clear, and I'm just going to go slow down this list and you can see which ones did. I think we had, let's see, I think we had an onboard charge fault. That was there, and the onboard, I think this one was faulted also. So a couple of them did clear, but some of them still aren't communicating, I guess, so. Well, it runs and drives, the AC works.
So we decided to take it around the block to see if maybe when we got back, maybe just running it for a bit would help it clear the codes. And it turns out that that's all it needed was a short drive around the block.
We're in the process of clearing codes here again. We're going to attempt to. We just took it for a short ride. Switch ignition off. Switch ignition on. May as well turn it all the way on. Okay. No shit. No shit. So it didn't want to clear when we first hooked it up, but all we did was drive it around the block maybe 2 or 3 blocks and ran the AC for a bit, and it took off. So we're good to go. Awesome.